Afternoon, everyone. Nice sunny afternoon we've got today, and it is week 8 of the eBay Listing League. Numbers have been flying in left, right, and centre. We've got James with me today. How you doing, James?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I've had a bad week in terms of listing, and I've just felt absolutely like, I don't know, kind of like at the end of the season, a little bit frazzled. A few other my local resellers have been saying that because you go into end of season boot fairs, they're not the best. You kind of been doing it for months and months and months, and it's now cold and dark when you get up. But you want to do it once you've had a break and come April. So it's all good.
Right. I think the weather changing doesn't help.
No, well,
it's cold and dark and damp, and even when the boot sales were on this weekend, they start a bit later because of the light as well. I think it just all adds up. So it's a lot tougher at the moment, I must admit.
I went to one on Sunday and I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because people do get there at like 4:45, and and it's a bit of a drive for me. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I got quite a few good bits, but nothing outstanding, nothing amazing, but the chance was there, I guess. So there we go. Right, let me set myself up. I'm all last minute jobby as usual. So I've got all the comments here. Hopefully I haven't missed anyone's numbers. It's always a possibility. If I do have missed your numbers, you can always put them in the chat and just talk about them as we go through. Got Faye. Hello, Faye. Let's add you in. Hello.
It is me.
Hi, Faye. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks to you.
Yeah, I'm all right. Right.
Hi,
Should we get going with the numbers then? Should we dive straight in?
Yeah.
And we'll get me out of the way. Okay. Oh, I have not shared it as usual. Let's do this. How do I share it? There we go. They must change it every week because I never know how to do it. Right, here we go. Number listed, number sold. So it's the week Monday to Sunday, and we'll probably talk about the same old things. But who was it? Richard said something to me, and he was right. I'll say what he said, but I think we always find these numbers are sort of similar-ish. I mean, the listed numbers can go up or down depending on how much you pull your finger out. But the solds are always, I feel you really have to put an extra effort in to sort of break the routine of what your solds are. And sometimes there's a little bit of a lag. I mean, I've kind of noticed when I put work in, it takes a couple of days sometimes for it to come through, but that's just my feeling. So 53 listed. And I've got to say, I was having a really slack week. And on Sunday, I did 29 media listings of replacement box set DVDs. So it's really, I mean, they're only worth 29 listings worth £3.49 each, free post. But I it's a bit of a cheat, really. I kind of feel so I just want to say, like, this is why you can't sort of say if someone does, 30 listings or if someone does 300 listings, because you don't know what it is. So I'm being totally upfront here and saying I was sat on 24 listings, hadn't done anything all week, and then I thought, went to the boot fair and got like 6 box sets of Game of Thrones, and I thought, excellent, we'll stick that on. So they went on, sold down. Not a good week. It's sales of for the uninspected not doing too well this week. But saying that, I did manage. I pulled one out of the bag by getting a £250 sale, which kind of saved me. It's got to get there.
Wow,
yeah?
What was it?
It was a little model train, tiny little thing, N-gauge train. That I actually had to borrow some money off Peter Ray to buy. So, if he's in the stream, I'm sure he'll constantly remind me of that. But I got a whole box of these things, and there were four that were 50 quid each at the boot fair, and they all went on for about. I originally put them on for 400 each, and then I didn't have any reference on price, but I then cut them back quite quickly to 250, and one of them's gone, which is good.
Wow. Brilliant, Well done.
Yeah, so that was nice. I mean, that that kind of scraped me over my average £100 a day, £700 for the week, which is, and today I'm heading for a 0 sales day, which is not good. So I know I've got I can't have a lazy week like last week. I've got to try and put a bit of the effort in, really. I was a bit lazy. I think I've been trying to source more. I've been going out more, and that's kind of been taking it out of me. And sometimes, if you're getting up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday and you've got up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday, you don't really fancy going, I'll go on eBay and list for like 4 hours. But there you go. But there you go. You get in what you get out. Andrew, he said he's had a poor week as well. He has listed 34. He's a part-timer, by the way, so looks like about 5 a day. He's sold 17. That's kind of similar to what I've been, I've been kind of selling half of what I'm putting on, and I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to sort of, I think what I've decided to do, because I did say I'm going to do 10 a day. I think what I'm going to do this week is not put the pressure on myself. I'm going to work to do 5 a day, but scheduled. And then if I achieve it, go round again and layer it with another 5. That's how I'm going to go about it this week. He says he didn't even think he'd sold 17. It felt that bad. Sometimes it does feel bad. It's like, it's not happening on eBay. And I'm kind of there at the moment, but I'm kind of confident it will turn around. Gross turnover the same as last week, but with less units. So there we go. Yeah, it sounds like it's good sale price or better than last week anyway. Here we go, James. Here's your numbers. Are you all right to talk us through?
Yeah, absolutely.
So listed 58.
So behind on listings, I always aim for 70. And the reason behind that is I ran out of stock. So I've got to 58. The death pile's gone now. And it got to, I think it was midway through Thursday that I realised that, do you know what, I'm not going to be able to list over the weekend and stuff. So I kind of staggered the listings out over the weekend to keep it consistent. But yeah, I always like to be around 70, but just no stock. And I think that come from the previous weekend where there was no boot sales on. Because of the weather. I'm kind of on a week by week basis at the moment, which is never good when it comes to stock.
And I heard you saying in, I think it might have been the stream yesterday, you were saying, and I think you've mentioned it before, that you want to, when you're sourcing next year, you will put a certain 5% away or a little, a few items away every week, so that you've kind of got them in, ready for that when the boot fairs do end. I mean, you never know when they're going to end. I've known rainy years where they've ended at the end of September. Other years they've gone, quite well into November. Of course, there are all year ones as well, but my usual ones are the ones that sort of like close down around about now. Yeah. So, so I mean, what are you going to do to put that right then? Like in terms of
this weekend was better. This weekend I went to 2 boot sales and a jumble trail. So I've got enough items easily for this week to hit the 70. Yeah. But I might have to start going back to the auctions on Thursday. There is an auction on Friday I can go to as well, and trying to just find other ways. But I think sometimes when you're doing a full day on eBay, the last thing you want to do on a Friday night is go to an auction.
Oh, so yeah.
Both evening stuff. So
I don't know what your local auctions are like, but my ones, unless you're getting a lot, it takes a lot out of your time. The ones up at Greasby's in Tooting, you had to go there for the auction one day. You could do the viewing the previous day, so that's like almost 2 days out, and then you'd pick up the next day. So that's 3 days if you want to preview the stuff. So it is tricky, but have you got a lot of listings, active listings that you can sort of?
Yeah, so the active listings have gone right down actually, because I have been selling quite a bit, which is not a bad place to be. I'm not going to moan about selling because that's the whole point of the game. But
how many did you have again? Was it
about 600? I had at one point, I think I got to about 870 listings, and now I'm down at about 500.
Yeah, that's okay.
Selling well, but so I kind of like to sit around the 700 to 800 active listings where I like my store to be. But just finding that consistent stock, especially over the winter. But I managed it last year, so we'll just manage again this year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. As I'm not listing as much, and what doing this has made me realise is I really should kind of look at I've got 800 items on my store, and I've been trying to look at why some of them are still there and why they're not going, and it's made me realise that it's almost as important to do that as to get new stuff on.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's say a few hellos. I've not said any hellos. I've been very rude, as usual. There's loads of people in. So Rich by name, not by nature. Hello, you were first in. Andrew, we've done your numbers. Thanks for sending them in. We've got Shabba's numbers coming up. Limelight Vinty, good to see you again. RS and JJ, Chris Tyler, all the usuals. M's Den, I think we got your numbers. Mandy, got your numbers. Thanks for those. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. I think that might be a new name. Paul. I'll try and say that surname. Rosevear. There we go. I'll say it like I see it. Hello, Kirsten. Good to see you. Hope the shop's going well. Always see Kirsten's Instagram posts of all the fantastic stock she has in her shop. If you're in the area, go and check it out. Pete's in. Good to see you, Pete. Julie Pearson. Santa's in from the North Pole. Good to see you, Santa. Di, we've got your numbers coming up. Pete Retro, got your numbers too. Tam and Bell, good to see you. Jack's in. He's only on for 15 minutes. He's then off taking partner for tattoo. Whoa. If you got a tattoo, what would it be? Any ideas, James?
I've got one already, but I don't think I'd go for another one. Painful.
Right. What about you, Faye? You got
not really a tattoo person, but maybe I take
something to do with the dogs, maybe, or
Picture Simon.
Picture Simon. I don't think it'll be a Picture Simon.
Oh
yeah. Chris is in. Am I missing anyone? I don't think I'm missing anyone. Listed 0, sold 0. There we go. You've got rid of everything you listed. World Reseller Centre. Pat, good to see you. I used to see Pat up at my local boot fair, but are you still doing boot fairs, Pat? Let me know if and where you're going. Lee's in. Whizzing through here now. Everyone's saying hello to everyone else. Retro Pursuits. I definitely go for Winnie the Pooh on the arm or a couple of dolphins. Oh, there you go. And Guy King. I have a tattoo on my forehead saying I love boot sales. Well, perhaps we should all go for that one, or sell me some stuff cheap. Sell me some good stuff cheap. That'd be a good one. So, Di. We've just seen you in the chat. You have listed 38. Now let's see if you've sent in any comments. I'm quickly going through I can't see anything. You can tell us about it in the chat if you want, but you've listed 38, sold 36. And I really like seeing those sort of numbers, almost the stuff you're putting in your shop, you've also got out of your shop. It's not the same stock, obviously, but because I've always said, looking at my numbers, my listed always seems to be higher than my sold, and that can't carry on, indefinitely. Or it can do. I'm just going to drown in stock, but there you go. This is Peter Stride, who's in the chat, and he's normally listing sort of 90 plus. Is that right? That can't be right. Let me have a look at this. I'm sure he. You sent me his numbers. I think I've made a mistake here. I have made a mistake because he hasn't listed 157. He's listed 57. Can you believe it? The first mistake I've made on this, and that is low for Pete. He has still sold 88. So he's got away with it because I've given him an extra 100. You can't believe it. That's not right. Well, less. Yes. Sorry about that. But yeah, he's listed 57. last minute job as usual. What he said, the same as me, really. Just it's kind of like feeling a little bit, frazzled, end of season burnout, and he said he's had it in previous years, and I've had it every year. You can't keep going to boot fairs and going, this is great, when it's cold and dark and you don't get much. It's a bit, Here we go. Dyer said, the wee bundle sounds like Yoda. Wee bundles are strong in this one, if not huge money. I had a wee boxed wee returned to me, which was the first time. In actual fact, I've had 3 returns this year, so this week. So not a brilliant week and a few returns, but I've dealt with them and we move on. A vintage phone. I think that was a Panasonic vintage phone, which is an interesting one because the only Panasonic phones I know are the sort of cordless phones you get, just the normal plug-in landline ones. But there you go. But Happy Chap, still doing very well on the sales. Are you still, Faye? You still sort of like you don't do boot fairs that much, do you? You're still doing charity shops.
Yeah, we don't tend to get up early enough for a boot fair. Although there is a boot fair, I'm not going to lie, 3 minutes from our house.
Unbelievable.
We've been once ever.
And is it good? Is it?
We went on a really hot day and it wasn't great because it was hot. There weren't a lot of sellers there apparently.
Did you rock up about 1:30 in the afternoon?
No, we got there at like 10 to 7
in
the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't been to one since. No, we're charity shops and the auction. Like you were saying about your auctions near you guys, we've got an amazing one near us, and it is literally 20 minutes drive.
Oh, brilliant!
And we can bid online, and it's like there and back in an hour if we want to pick the stuff up. So we're very lucky.
Nick did a video probably a couple of years ago now, but he went to an auction and he got a load of chocolate making machine, I think, or some sort of.
It was probably the same one.
And he looked like a huge place. It was a huge.
Oh yeah,
place.
It's got a cafe, it's got a restaurant and everything.
Wow.
You can just go in the week for lunch and like have a look and wander around. It's good.
And is it everyday auctions? Is it once a week or twice a week?
It's always on a Saturday, and they do like specialist auctions other days. Like they have an alcohol auction like once a month, like a room just full of like all sorts of alcohol, rare alcohol, like whiskeys and stuff. They do guns sometimes.
Wow.
It's a good one.
That's a mix, alcohol and guns.
Yeah.
Right, Sam, what have you done this week? 113 listed, and I think you're generalist from what I remember. I think you put a comment on my Monday video, so it's not on Instagram. And 100 sold again, very much in the ballpark of how many you've listed, you've managed to get out as well. I seem to be stuck in this. What I'm putting in, I'm only getting half out. So there we go. Right, Jack, who is very, very good at this. He's only done 74.
Well, that's shockingly bad, isn't it?
Shockingly bad. Yeah, I think maybe he should be relegated from the league. I mean, it's just not up to his usual standards. What's he said this week? So Jack does a lot of media. He's also done some high-end audio. Thursday spent picking up a new car, and then Friday in the weekend he went to a reseller meet up in Wales. I think I saw a picture with him actually with Ricky Lee and Zahir. But I didn't realise it was in Wales. So there we go. He's listed 74. But normally he's listed like between 100 and 200. Like I say, a lot of it will be gaming. He was talking on a stream the other day. He's got his own sort of disc polisher. I was sort of thinking about getting that. Is it worth it? He sold 212. So, wow, 212. We don't know what it is. I'm sure there's some really, high value stuff there. I'm sure there's maybe some lower value stuff as well. So it's a mixed bag, but he's doing very, very well. So and working really hard as well. So that's great to see. Now, Mandy, I always thought she did 15 a day. So I thought I could almost guarantee she'd do 105 listed every week. But she's thrown us a curveball there. She's up to a game to 20 a week, 20 a day. She said she's been creating drafts for the half-term break. I don't know if that's during the half-term break or I can't think if we've had half-term. I should know.
It's the end of October, isn't it?
I thought it was, yeah. I should know because I've got 3 kids, but I'm clueless.
I haven't got kids, and I know.
No, I know. I'm the last person who knows, but she sold 84 as well. So Mandy's done very well there.
Really good.
Oh, Kirsten's just saying, that's reminded she's got a rare bottle of alcohol in the cupboard. that I need to drink. I need to put in a specialist auction. Some of these you can get some, empty bottles, vodka bottles, and they go well on eBay. Even ones that have been sold in the last few years, if they're kind of limited edition. Really, I think I saw someone sell a vodka bottle, and I think they got it free from somewhere. It's not like they even bought it, and it sold for like between 15 and 20 quid. It's a collectible thing. Anything can be collectible.
A lot of people use glass bottles. If you're into glass fusing, you can slump bottles and make them flat, and a lot of people do that.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
Specialist knowledge.
Luke, who's local to me, sells similar stuff but gets more of it. He's listed 81, and he's had a cracking weekend, I think. He had a really good weekend sales-wise. He sold 74. I think he was saying, like, on Sunday, it seemed that his phone was on fire. It kept going ping, ping, ping. I thought mine had died, but there we go. Jess, 121. Wow. Have I got a note on this? I'm not very good at finding my comments and notes. Here we go. She's just told me the numbers. 121 listen. Oh, she has mentioned before that she focuses on Apple products. And then the other thing she sells is clothes, but technically a generalist. So for a generalist, 121 listed, 99 sold. That's very good numbers. Well done. Faye.
I don't know what our numbers are.
This is your moment. Right, here we go. 109. Happy with that?
I'm hoping it's over 100.
That's good. Oh, you and Simon didn't do anything?
I wish. No, he did do some, but I did most. Yeah.
Did it feel like a busy sort of listing week? You feel like that's 15 a day, isn't it? Almost, or just over, actually.
Yeah, no, because I didn't do anything on Saturday.
Was there one day you kind of were in the groove of it, or Simon was in the groove, and it was just like, I see. Because sometimes I find sometimes listing tends to just flow and it's easy, and other times, me and James have said this before. Other times you can be like 12 o'clock and you're still looking at this thing that you haven't listed and wondering how you're going to do it. It's weird.
Yeah, I think, well, at the moment we've got a lot of books. We got hold of a load of books. So I've been working on those, and it's just easy to list books. I mean, James, you've listed loads of books. You can do loads in one sitting, really. And I'm kind of surrounded. It looks like I haven't got anything around me, but I've got loads of books behind me, loads of books to the side of me, and they've been selling. So it's really good. I think clothing, we do sell clothing, and that slows me down, and I don't enjoy it. I enjoy it when it sells, but I don't enjoy listing it. And I think that can slow me down. So the fact that I haven't really been listing clothes all week has probably been better.
I know what you mean about sort of like doing one thing, and it might be a niche or similar sort of items. Tommy Bernard had a photo, and it was like a big pile of shoes, and I was just like so envious of it, because it's like you can just imagine you go, right, I'm going to do that. I'm just focused on shoes, and it's all similar listings, and you just feel like you can get your teeth into it rather than scrabbling around, picking out 10 different sorts of things that you're not too sure about. But definitely, definitely. I mean, do you prefer that sort of like sitting down and doing that one kind of item for a day or half a day?
Yeah, things where if you've got 10 of them on the table, you've still got room to work. So you can just kind of, you're not sort of like, the worst thing is when you've got loads of clothes just piled up on a chair next to you, because you've got to measure them and then you've got to fold them up and put them away. Where if it's just like bric-a-brac or like little piles of books or something, it's just so much easier.
Yeah, haven't got to worry about creases or,
exactly,
if it needs anything doing to it. So 109 listed, how many got sold then? 47 sold, and good sales number, good numbers, good items. Happy with that?
Yes, like some of the books have just been flying out, so that makes me happy when you list something straight away and it sells straight away. I mean, that's good. I do cross list as well, as you know. I cross list Etsy and Vinted, and Vinted's been doing really, really well.
Oh, excellent.
So I can be sad about that number if I want to be, but I'm not, because we've sold on other platforms as well. So I am pleased with that. But Amazon's died a death.
Yeah. How much have you got up there at the moment? You got a lot of items up there?
Not really. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but every now and then, not often, cash flow becomes a bit of an issue.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think we're in that. It's just we're in that now, and we won't be in it next week. And Vinted have held so much money as a problem with payments on Vinted at the moment, which is annoying about selling on Vinted. But we need to get out and do a big sourcing trip. I mean, I've popped out today and got a few bits. We popped out last week and got a few bits, but we actually haven't been properly sourcing for ages. So that's going to make a difference to our numbers, I think.
You need to put a day aside, because I know what your sourcing is like. You get in the car and you hit the charity shops, didn't you? And it really is a full-on day of it, isn't it, when you do it?
It is. We just have to think about what we're going to do with the dogs. So I have to sort of schmooze my parents to look after them for the day.
Dog sit for you. Do you ever worry about if something is sold straight away that you've undersold it, or do you look at it as, I put it on at that price, that was the price I'd be happy to get, I'm glad to get it and move on?
Totally. I used to sort of say, we must have done it too cheap. And Simon, he's just so level-headed about everything. And he's just like, no, that was the price someone wanted to pay. Yeah. We've made money. It's gone out of our hair. Move on.
Yeah. It's kind of, when you're desperate that you might have got a higher price, it's kind of like when I look at people on a boot fair stall trying to get an eBay price. It's like, you shouldn't worry about that higher price. There is a price for everything. And if you've set your price at what it is, if you've got it and got it quickly, that's great. Because the other option is you could not get it and it could just sit there for ages and do nothing.
Exactly. So, that's what we put best offer on things quite quickly on eBay. I mean, I listed a coat on Sunday, I think it was, for £120. We paid £2 for it. Yeah. And I got an offer this morning for 80, and I thought, well, that's like quite a bit less than what I've listed it for, but I paid £2. If someone wants it for 80, they can have it done, and it's paid for and gone in the post.
I've had some successes, but I've also had some failures with that. Like I got this Japanese robot for I got two of them. They were £10 each, I think, or £10 for the two. I got offered £300 for both. No, how much was it? How much did I get offered? It was a lot of money. It was in the hundreds, and I it was about £100 less than what I put them on at or something. So I was trying to get it, and they changed their mind and didn't want it. And then I've ended up selling one later on for about £30 less, but it's taken ages. And I kind of thought, if I'd have taken it at the time, so annoying. And it was like that train I sold. That was, I think it was up for £250, and I got offered £225. I think that's right, or £270, something like that. And I got the offer, and I was like, basically anything over, 150 I'd take, because I only paid 50 for it. So yeah.
Well, exactly.
So I had the same as you, Faye, actually. This week, I bought a Monster High doll for 30p and listed it up on eBay for 120 and had it off for £80 in about 25 minutes. And the old me, 80.
80, yeah.
Yeah, so the old me would have thought to myself, do you know what? It's worth 120. Look how quick this offer's come in. But the new me thought, I paid 30p. Let's get it sold.
Yeah. Exactly. We're not storage. We're not warehouses. We're all about we need to sell these things.
And what are the odds that someone else is going to come along? And they might come along, but you've got to look at they might not. So it is a tricky one. And it definitely helps when you pay the low amount. It's a lot of people say that making the money is in the buying, and you're right, because if you've bought something like dirt cheap, it gives you that room to sort of go, if you'd have bought that Monster High doll for like £40, it's a different question. But the fact that you bought it for, dirt cheap, it's all right. That's a good price for a Monster High doll. Did it have all the little accessories, and was it a particularly rare one?
It was actually missing all the accessories. I didn't realise at the time how much it was worth until I got it home and done research. But if it had all the accessories, it's a £250 doll pretty easily.
Wowza.
So,
I'll have to revisit my Monster High.
Don't look anything special either, you know. Looking at it, you wouldn't have thought, "Oh, this is worth money."
Yeah,
but
I've had them before. I think I've only had them once or twice, and I'm sure they're around a £20-30 item normally, isn't it? You know, it's not. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll have to do a bit of research on that. Now, Richard has a couple of easy weeks, a few things going on, him and Derek. But this week he has said, well, his numbers first off, he's back on it like anything. 77 listed, 49 sold. And what he says is, because I think he's had a couple of weeks where he's done like 0 listings or 1 listing because he's, been busy. But he's noticed that doing this league, that his sales are fairly consistent. They're normally around 50 or 60. And that's sort of similar with me. Mine have been about as low as they are this week, 24. I had another week in the 20s. They've been up to 40 something, but they're normally like 20, 30, 40. And they're quite consistent in what they are. And, I said this at the start. I think you to sort of break that habit and break that cycle, you really have to sort of do something quite drastically different. I noticed it like first few weeks of this, I was listing 70, and after a bit, it was reflected in the sales going up. But yeah, no, he's right. It's also, you form your habits of how you deal with your active listings as well. So unless you change that, you will have consistent numbers every week. Peter Retro's in the chat. I don't know if he wants to add any more to this. What's he said this week? Here he is. He's saving up for Q4, but this week he's done 44 listings. He's sold 34 sales, and 12 of those 34 sales were things he listed in the week. So very true that the majority of the items you've sold have probably been listed recently, be it a month or two. Very, very rare that you would maybe, if you sold 34 things that, 20 of those are going to be from something you listed, a year ago. It is always the more recent stuff you listed does tend to sell. I mean, do you find that? I mean, you're saying you sold those books. When you look at your sold items, if you've had, how many have you had this week? Like 47. The 80-90% of those would be stuff you've listed in the last few weeks. Do you normally find that?
Yes, and I was just thinking actually, because obviously I was really peed off of my numbers or our numbers a few weeks ago on here. And
were you? I didn't notice.
And I think it's from being a generalist, because I just had clothes for sale in our shop, and it suddenly dawned on me at the weekend that they're not winter clothes.
Yeah.
I was a hardcore clothes seller, I'd have thought about that months ago.
Yeah.
But it just dawned on me I've got no jumpers.
Yeah. Get them on. I mean, it's weird how, Richard was saying he's sort of noticed something that he's never noticed before, and I've said I've noticed that my balance isn't right, between the amount I'm listing and the amount that's sold. I mean, you've noticed sort of things like that maybe you wouldn't have picked up on by just doing this. So that's quite useful. Yeah. Have you noticed things, James?
Yeah, my notice was I wasn't as consistent as I thought I was.
Yeah.
So by joining this listing, the last couple of weeks haven't been as good as they was at the start. But I'm still a lot more consistent, where other weeks I think I'm doing a lot of work and getting locked up, but you're actually not until you put them down on paper, kind of thing.
Yeah, Derek said that. He thought he was sort of doing 10 a day, and then the reality said something else when you looked at it. So that's quite interesting, really, because you can kind of kid yourself. But Pete's saying here that he did 200 relists, but they don't count. They're nothing to me, Pete. Nothing to me.
It's made me realise that Simon slacks most weeks.
I see. Regarding the Monster High, he also said, because Pete does a lot of Monster High, be aware of reissues. So there are first wave and obviously second wave. Monster High very much depend on the doll. Some are worth a lot, but most are 10 to 20. It's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Kirsten. That's mad. £250 for a doll. Who'd pay that?
For a used doll as well at that, not even a brand new one.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right, Shabba's in the chats. He's done 11. What's he said? When I send the invite around, I cut and paste everyone who has sent numbers in. But Shabba was at work, and he's saying, "I'm afraid I can't join you because I might get the sack." Here he is. He's just told me his numbers. 11. Look at this. He's only listed 11. He sold 25. I wish I could have that sort of ratio. That'd be fantastic. And Square One Shop. Let me bring this up. If I can find it. I don't think I can find it. Oh, here we go. Listed 29. And they've had a bit of bother this week because they've had a car. The car's been written off in an accident, so that can really throw you anything like that. So I understand if these numbers are down, your focus goes somewhere else because to get good listing numbers or to get in the groove on eBay, you do have to be focused, and your focus can go with anything. It can be, I don't know, you're going off watching too much YouTube, you're in the garden, looking at a frog, or something's happened to your car. Anything can distract you if you let it.
Was there a frog in your garden this week?
There have been frogs in that garden. This is why my numbers are down. I was told there was a big frog in the garden. I'd go and have a look at it for 10 minutes. I could have been listing for 10 minutes, Square One Shop, 49 sold. So, well, you're not listing much, but obviously doing all right. And that's probably as a result of the work you've done in previous weeks. So that's carrying you through. Like Richard was saying, that your numbers are normally pretty consistent. M's Den, I think M is the one who has two shops, if my memory is right, and they have the clothing shop and the generalist shop, and they try and do 5 on one and 10 on the other. There we go, 105 in the week. They say they've got over 6,000 knitting patterns, so they're getting on and listing that. So yeah,
on eBay.
Well, I think they've maybe just sourced them, and they're working on that at the moment. Incredible. 146 sold. I think that's right. I can't see the numbers on my... that's not last week's. There might be last week's numbers.
Not another mistake.
I may have made two mistakes. I'll tell you what, it is another mistake.
Oh, look, she's saying they did 130.
Yeah, I've just seen it. So it's a fun game we're doing this week called Spot the Deliberate Mistake. Okay, so the actual numbers are 130 listed and 130 sold.
Wow.
How can you get so far? Is that from last week's numbers?
That's last week's numbers.
We'll let you off.
Yeah, I've been so busy listing and selling. Oh no, I haven't. I can't use those things.
Too busy looking at frogs in the garden.
Oh no, I've been so busy with the frogs. There you go. For 130 in, 130 out, 6,000 knitting patterns, and yes, doing very, very nicely. They're up in their listing on the clothing site to see if it increases traffic and results in more sales. Right, let's hope I've got this. He's not actually in the chat, so if it's wrong, he won't be able to tell me, thank God. It probably is. But Gary, he's on 35. I think he had a little dip and now he's sort of like getting back into it. Sold 17. And as we know, Gary can have some absolutely amazing items of trainers or clothing or football shirts. So there's probably some really good value stuff in there. And this is Robin. Let's have a look here. Got a little note. It is... I think he's saying it's an improvement on last week. I think he might be part-time. I'm not too sure. Yeah, part-time reseller who's not been doing it too long. He normally tries to list about 4 items a day. He's listed 21 this week, sold 12, and he's now got 29 days without a zero sale. So as a part-timer, I was saying I haven't sold anything today. It happens as a full-timer sometimes, but you do look at that. It's always good to get those consistent days. When you've got a full-time job, to just having extra money coming in every day, no matter what it is fantastic. And there we go. That is all the numbers. So thanks everyone who's sent them in. What are you two doing the rest of the day? Is it listing?
Hopefully, but my internet is giving me nothing but grief the last 2 days. So I've gone onto the Virgin website and they said there's problems in your area and we can't update you any further from there. So who knows? We'll try and do some listing, but we'll probably end up not being able to do much. But yeah.
No, I hope you get that sorted. And what about you, Faye? What are you up to?
Yeah, I'm listing. I went sourcing today, so I need to do a little haul for Simon and give him some stuff to list, and I'll list some bits, and just crack on.
Oh yeah, I've got to do that. Try and get some better numbers for next week as well. Got to look at my current stock as well and try and get some of that old rubbish gone as well.
Yeah,
so
been a lot of price changes, definitely.
Yeah,
every day. Tweaking.
It does need to be done. It does need to be done. So we've got 2 more weeks of this. So we're going to finish at week 10. We're going to have a few weeks break. Probably everyone will need it over the Christmas period because people will be busy packing. Because hopefully quarter 4 should sort of ramp up, and then we'll get going again for the next season. But there are links in the description for Faye and for James's channel, and for everyone else who has submitted numbers in the previous week. So do check out everyone's channel. But for now, thanks everyone who's watched, and take care. And I'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.